the Xeno series. Is it fair to really call it a series? Well, the Xeno series was created by Tetsuya Takahashi and Xenosaga, the husband and wife combo. And it was started in 1998 with Squaresoft's Xenogears, continued in a way with Xenosaga Episode 1 in 2002, then continued again in 2010 with the very popular Xenoblade Chronicles. So with Xenoblade Chronicles, it was definitely third time's the charm. However, the Xeno series aren't directly related, story-wise, and legally could also not be related. But the Xenosaga is sort of the weird middle child between Xenogears and Xenoblade. There are 3 games in the Xenosaga series, and I started with Episode 1. You ever have like a game or a movie that you know everybody loves, and you're like, I don't know about this. That was kind of my experience with the Xenosaga Episode 1. And the thing is, I can see what makes it a great game. I can see why people will love it, why it's a cult classic. I can see why it complements Xenogears and why it precedes Xenoblade. But for me, something just wasn't sticking. I played about 10 hours of the game on this very channel. And I think with it being a video game, there's not enough game. At least not in this first chunk that I played. And I feel like the first 5 to 10 hours of a game, and some people would argue the first hour of a game is the most important time for a game to, capture their audience. And while all the parts were right, the characters were interesting, the story was really cool, and the turn-based combat was serviceable enough. But the thing is, this is a video game we're talking about, and I felt like for the first 10 hours of the game, I was sitting and watching cutscenes for about 5 of that. That's probably a little bit of an exaggeration, but that's what it felt like. It's hard for me to go into what makes the gameplay great, because it's fun at first, but the thing is, I don't think it's rewarding enough to sit through cutscenes. And the cutscenes are interesting, well directed, like it feels like a movie and ahead of its time. But the thing is, it is a video game. And to me, I felt like I was sitting for too long watching cutscenes, which is crazy for me to think about, because the reason I started this channel is because I love Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy has terrific cutscenes typically. And I don't think the Final Fantasy cutscenes are nearly as long as Xenosaga's. And for me, they were, while well done, overindulgent. And that kind of brings me back to, I have movies that I know other people like that I just can't get into. And I feel kind of that way with Xenosaga Episode 1. And I think had it been maybe a PS1 era game where I had to read the text myself, I would have felt more invested in the cutscenes, which is why I look forward to eventually making it to Xenogears. And for what I understand, Xenoblade, those games, have less cutscenes and more Don't get me wrong, I could see myself getting into the story and world of Xenosaga in kind of the same way that I'm interested in the Dark Souls and Elden Ring games, whereas I can't get into the games themselves, but I can watch videos and lore casts on these types of games. In fact, I would highly recommend Resident Ark's coverage of the Xenosaga games. I think those are brilliant, and was kind of what made me want to try the games. And I'm glad that I played Xenosaga for the 10 hours or so that I did. I don't think it's a bad game by any means. It's strange. It's like, I know the game's good, but it's not something that I felt like I was super excited to get into after I felt like I wasn't really playing the game, more as just watching it unfold in front of me. And to me, that's just not what I'm looking for. Like, I love games with really great stories, but to me, I need more participation. I finished Final Fantasy X not too long ago, a shining example of great cutscenes, but I'm afraid that Xenosaga just doesn't match up as far as not overstaying its welcome. Hopefully, people that are avid fans of this series, I can see why you love this, and I welcome you to voice your opinions down below. And I hope that I haven't, some people can be very passionate with their fan bases, so be gentle, and I look forward to hearing what people have to say.